My mother's mother's mother, Clara, fled what is now Ukraine in 1904 when she was 22. She had sewn her filigreed platinum engagement ring into her jacket to avoid detection as a deserter. If the authorities caught you leaving with your husband, they knew you were escaping for good. Her immigration record from Ellis Island lists her port of departure as Bremen. She and her husband, my great-grandfather Mark, lived in a damp tenement near Coney Island before they eventually settled in Denver, where they ran a women's clothing shop and raised my grandmother Lillian and her brother. I've seen only one photograph of Mark wearing a fedora and Clara with dark wavy hair. It was taken on a suburban Denver street with my mother, a serious 5-year-old, and her sister Judy, already a great beauty at 9. Old world grandparents who loved borscht, posing with their wholly American grandchildren, who thought the smell of beets and cabbage cooking was just awful. Clara made her life in a new country in her 20s, as I did in my 30s when I crossed the ocean to live in Sweden. I never met Clara, but she touches my daily life in 2 ways. First, her diamond sparkles on my left ring finger. Second, carbon from the coal that powered her escape across first a continent and then an ocean is still warming the atmosphere I share today with nearly 8 billion people. Because when your individual actions are powered by fossil fuels, some of the carbon from those actions stays in the air for thousands of years. Your story doesn't end with your death. Its contrails unfurl in the physical world for millennia. Clara lived to be 82, a good long life. Her grandchildren, my mother and her 2 siblings, are the last generation of my family to have known her. They're now grandparents themselves. Once they're gone, living memory of Clara will wane, and eventually the stories they shared of her will disappear too. Clara's life, as real and vivid and important as mine or anyone else's, will fade into the background of the human tapestry. But her carbon will outlast us all. Everyone alive today is skywriting the most important legacy of their lives in atmospheric carbon. Long after our names and faces and deeds have faded from living memory, long after any genetic or creative or physical or digital traces of us are gone, this carbon legacy will define us in the minds and stories of our distant descendants. It will literally define the terms of their lives, where they can live, how they can make a living, what kind of civilization and nature surround them. We will be remembered for our carbon legacy by far more people than we'll ever share a meal with or know by name.